Ooh.
And I can't seem to how I feel. Will you master remember the taste of my love? Yeah. Will you eyes don't smile from your cheeks? And baby, I will be loving you till we're 70. And darling, my heart could stumble as hard as 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just a touch of a hand. But me, I fall in love with you every single day. I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Oh, darling, place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, baby, we are love where we are. Thank you.
I'm already in love, but okay. So much in love, so much in love. This is the month of love. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Bob Charts. And thanks to Steffi, she actually started with a very good reminding us of the love that we need to share amongst us. Queen, I still remember the last time, and then I'm assuming that you didn't receive something. But we shall not go into this part, but we shall continue with something else. Today, we're going to talk about saving and investing. And um, I don't know whether during Valentine people saved or invested or they spend, but we never know. Let's just so today we're going to do talk about money matters, and I'll give to the panel so that they can actually introduce themselves, tell us what they do, where they are from, and what they want us to know about themselves. This is just roundabout, just introducing yourself, guys. Steffi, I think you have done a wonderful job to actually play, and please, you can start and then tell us more about this music thing and where we can actually go and enjoy this small vibe.
Thank you so much, Herbert. So, hi, everybody. Hello to everyone
Mhm.
who's joining us on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Steffi Jagger. I am a rapper and a singer, and I work as a videographer and as many other stuff as well. I'm a full-on creative. I do art, music, photography, graphic design, a lot of other things.
Mhm.
So yes, I am based in Johannesburg, and I'm just a full-on creative, and I'm looking forward to today's discussion. Thank you, Herbert.
Okay, sure. Should we go to Roy now? Um, okay.
I'm Roy Machingura, and I'm based in Cape Town, but originally from Zimbabwe. I'm an accountant, but also invested in trading and equity investments.
And Queen?
Good to be back. Yeah, so my name is Queen and I'm based in Cape Town. So I work professionally. I'm an executive assistant to a CEO of our company, which I'm not going to mention here. Yeah, I've got a little bit of accounting background. I actually studied cost and management accounting, just never practiced as an accountant because it was just a bit, yeah, not in my personality. So yeah, I'm looking forward to today's discussion. I think it's quite an important topic, and I think it's very yeah, it's not discussed enough in our community.
I want to laugh about it's not in your personality. Are you saying that saving and investing is not in your personality?
No, being an accountant, like looking at spreadsheets the whole day.
Yeah.
No, no thanks.
Okay. I get it. I mean, the whole formulas that you did, and then the spreadsheet that you just had to work on when you're actually at work. Okay, guys, thank you for introducing yourself. So we need to dive down into actually the actual conversation. So today we're going to talk about saving and investing, but from a personal level. I mean, for me, it's more or less the same. I've said this before. I think when I was talking to you, I don't see the difference between saving and investing, because at the same time, for me, it's just like I'm not using my money now. I'm gonna use it at some point. But what maybe from your perspective, Queen, like you said, it's not in your personality. I would take that. But what do you really understand from this perspective, or you as an individual? What does that mean to you when you talk about saving and when you talk about investing?
So for me, I think saving is short term
Mm-hmm.
and investing is long term. And saving is saving for, let's say you've got a particular goal that you're saving for, like a short term goal. So maybe you want to go on a holiday at the end of the year. So
Okay.
you would be saving up towards that goal, which would be going on a holiday. And also saving would be saving for rainy days, for emergencies. Let's say something comes up and you've got a family emergency. I'm from KZN originally, so that kind of a saving would help me if I'm able to access it. If there's maybe a funeral, God forbid, or maybe there's a wedding, those kind of things, things that just pop up out of the blue. That's what I understand about savings. And then investments, it's more of a long term. So you would be investing for, let's say, your retirement, you want to retire comfortably, or maybe you are investing over a period of 5 years with the goal of saying, after 5 years, I'd actually want to have a big lump sum in terms of putting away from buying a home or maybe for starting a business. So for me, that's how I invest. I understand the difference between savings and investments in a nutshell. Yeah.
Yep. So, Steffi, I see you are nodding to what Queen says. I think probably you're reading the same book, or you are in the same boat. I mean, tell us what do you understand about this?
Well, growing up, my father always throwed saving, investing into us, even before we could even understand what it was. And only later on, obviously, when I started growing up and started working, then I started to realize the difference between the two and started seeing the benefits of the two. Like Queen has said, I mean, saving is more or less plus minus short term. It might not be used within the first year, it might be used in the second year or third year, but nonetheless, you are saving it to use it at some other point. It's like with me when I had my car breakdown, I needed money to go and fetch that was already there to fix my car.
Okay.
Whereas with investing, you should literally be willing to just try and forget about it if that makes you feel any better. Put your money aside and forget about it. But the thing is, I think both of them are kind of beneficial because you need them both. Like Queen has said, the investing comes at a later point. It is for something major, for something bigger. And also, it also just kind of secures your future a bit more. Say, for instance, you lose your job or something like that, you have an investment fund to go and extract money. And also because with your investing, you're also earning a lot of more interest. But then again, also with investing, it also depends on where you are investing your money. And that's where the risk comes in. Investing is more of a risk, whereas saving is the safer option for people. And that's why most people would rather choose saving rather than investing.
Okay. Yes, this is from the ladies. Mr. Roy. I don't know whether you are representing the Stingy Men Association or you're representing accounting and what. But tell us what you think. I mean, for sure, you can see what you can do, but we are counting on you.
Okay, so I'm in between the Stingy Men Association and the normal guy. So for me, the difference comes in the objectives, right? So saving, you have something external that you are aiming for, So you are not really aiming for a return on the money. So let's say you want to invest, you can save up actually for your investment. Then investing now, you have a return in mind. You are aiming for a return on that investment, the return which will come from either interests, profits, or dividends, and also capital growth. So by capital growth is, let's say your business, you are trying to invest into a business. You are expecting the value of that business to come from, let's say, 100,000 to 200,000 in a certain period of time. So for me, that's where the difference is. With saving, with you are not really looking at a return that's coming from savings. So you're not even interested in the interest. You just want to save for a particular goal. So that's the difference from my side.
I can't hear habits.
So I don't know whether this is actually a textbook definition or something that you actually practice. But from what I've gathered from these definitions, from how this applies to everybody else, I've realized that Queen and Steffi were talking about more or less about time factor. You're not talking about time factor. You're talking about interest. So time factor is it a factor, or is just a matter like I can invest for this in the next 2 months or in the next 1 week, I get an interest. This is an investment, or this is probably a saving. Or what really determines the difference in the two? Is it a time factor or the interest factor? That, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes, I do. So the difference, the time factor is included in both, right?
Okay.
So let's say I want to buy a car, right? And my salary or my earnings, they allow me up to 5 years to save up to 5 years to get that car. That's time, right? So within that 5 years, I'm saving up, I'm not investing, right?
You're saving
Then
up.
I want now to invest in something. Remember now, with investment, there is a risk that is involved. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I get that part. There's a risk that's involved. I'll come back to that part where you say there's a risk involved, because I'm trying to think that my 500 rands that I've got in my account, what will happen to it, whether I invest or should I save. But we'll come back to that. Okay, so you have actually differentiated the two from probably from your accounting background, or from a point where we're saying from more financial terms, right? But let's say you say that maybe I want to save, right? Okay, Queen, let's say you want to save for your kids, right? Or for a long term. Let's say this is a long term, because probably they are still young, but you want to save them for university. Do you put in a savings? Would you think that you should put in a savings, or do you want to put in investment?
So ideally, I would, because I'm a risk taker, I would probably put it in an investment account, because that would drive more interest and drive more profits. I think just like what Roy said, when you're putting money away, you are literally just putting it under a pillow when you're saving. It doesn't bear, it's not interest bearing. But if I know that I'm only going to access this money in 7 years, so why not invest it in an offshore account or something like that, something along those lines? So I think investing is actually more beneficial, because you know that I'm not going to access this money next year. I'm not going to access this money in 3 years. And so if you've got that patience, so whichever portfolio you put it under, it gives them time to actually work with the resources that you've given them, and for it to give you more.
Okay, Steffi, Stanford actually asked, like, how do I decide? How do you decide whether you want to invest or do you want to save? Do you
Look,
do you just
for me, I think you do both. You do both. And let me explain, because talking from experience, especially coming from the difficult year that we had last year, it was very unexpected. If I had invested into something beforehand, before that, when my salary was cut, I would have had something to go withdraw and be like, hey, now I can live off this because it's gained interest over some time. But then again, I also have some savings, which I also could use. But the thing is about the savings is that it literally stays the same unless you put it in an investment account. So for me, I've come to realize that you actually do need both, because sometimes you're going to need money immediately, like right now. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to save for the future, like, hey, I want to maybe start a business in the next 5 to 10 years. Let me put money aside in an investment account to save. But then again, it also comes to the point of there's different ways to invest your money. You can put it in an investment account, or you can invest in a company and buy shares or something. There's always a different way, but obviously with every investment, there's always a risk, like everyone else has said. So if you're investing into a company, there might be a huge risk. I mean, the company might close doors, they might be liquidated, or something like that might happen, which means you're going to lose your money. Or they might grow, they might expand, the rand might look good for them and stuff like that, and you might earn a bit more. But whereas if you're just putting it in an investment account, you know for a fact, okay, it's locked up for the next 5 years. I can't touch that money at all. So therefore, I must just forget it's there and just allow it to grow. But like I said initially, I think that you literally do need both. Do not choose between saving and investing. In this day and age, you literally do need both.
Okay, so the person says, okay, return versus risk, but let's come back a little bit, because everybody talks about the risk. Can you explain to me what this risk thing is about? Because I put my 500. Will I lose my 500 at some point? Like, to literally say I'm just going to check this account, there is nothing anymore, or what does that mean? I mean, Roy, explain to me, because you said if you put 500 in savings, it doesn't grow. It just remains the same 500. Maybe it grows with 1 cent, 501. But if you put it in investment, there is a risk. Or is it a risk that it does not grow? Or is it a risk that I will actually literally lose the whole entire 500, then I'm just broke?
Okay. So the risk part is on the, let's say in an investment, I'm going to use a personal example.
Okay.
So last year around August, I made an investment into one of the hotel counters, right? And I was heavily, my portfolio was more on the side, was more weighted to the hotel industry, because I believed that COVID was going to be short-lived, and I'll gain all the returns from it recovering. But however, that didn't happen. So this is investment, how risky the investment is, right? So however, that hasn't happened yet. So right about now, I'm looking for that specific stock. I'm still in the negative for about 66%. So which means if I had put in 1,000, I'm remaining with 300 and something rand, right? But this will be paper profit. And if we put it now into a business context, let's say I wanted to do something which runs operations, right? It means that I'm putting my 500, right, into, let's say, buying a product and then reselling it. But when I buy that product, I later discover that the market doesn't want it. So what has happened is now I've lost the money that I've used to buy the product. I've lost it. Now in savings, if you put your money into a, let's say, a call account, it's given you are going to have that money. It's not going anyway. Then also to clarify on the return from savings, I understand we have different vehicles for saving. It's not that you don't have a return, but it's just that the return is so insignificant and it's not your priority.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think that I have my 500 rand, and then I'm just sitting there, let's say $500. I'm just sitting there, and you talking about 66% in the negative. And I'm trying to save for my kids. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, why do I need to do this? Why? Because you're talking to Herbert, who has no idea about investment or anything. But from where I'm standing, to be frank, I don't think I want to invest. From what you just told me now, I'm just like, what the heck? I'll put it under a pillow. It will remain 500. For sure, I'm guaranteed I'll get my 500. Okay.
But
Yes.
Herbert,
Come on, kid.
that's
Yes.
yeah, but that's the difference between saving and investing, right?
Yes, I get it.
Investing, you're not planting a seed and necessarily going outside and opening it up again to say, hey, how you doing, boo? No, you
Yes.
planting it and you saying, hey, I'm leaving this money for 10 years. Because I mean, markets fluctuate, but if you've got someone who's helping you with those investments, they will help you to say, hey, let's actually spread this money across different portfolios, so that we know that if the hotel industry is not doing so well, maybe Bitcoin is doing well, maybe
Yes,
this and that is doing
this
well.
is one thing that Tafazo just says. He says true experience is a true. Says so experience and information are key. All right, but this is the problem. I'm trying to think as a normal, like as me as habit really right now. I'm trying to think, please guys, help me, because even Stanford is like, okay, can you give specific examples of investment? How do I see that this is probably a and how do I see this is probably a pyramid scheme? But we'll come back to that part. But I want to give an example, Queen, right? Yes, I have got just an extra money, which is $500, okay, that I have, right? And probably I want it to grow. For sure I do, right? But I'm not so sure whether I can risk it to say that I am sitting where I can literally lose the money or I will not lose the money. Because
Look,
this is at a point where I am at a point I need the money. I really need my 500, but I'm not so sure whether, and I want it to grow. This is one everybody's thing. But if I go, I might lose the money, which I'm not in that position to actually have this thing. It's not like it's no go area. I can't lose this money at all. How do I think about that?
I
How,
I think firstly, I think we might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. There's
Mhm.
different ways of investing, and there's
Okay.
different ways of savings, and there's a
Okay.
lot of reputable companies. I mean, currently South Africa is driving people to do tax-free savings. Tax-free
Okay.
savings, they're not going to cost you much. They're not gonna, your money is not going to deplete. And when you at a later stage, when you decide to take that money out,
Mhm.
it will be your money. You know what I'm saying? But now, that's why you need to educate yourself. You kind of, when you've got the 500 rands, think, what is it that you want to do? How long are you willing to wait with this 500 rands? Because you can't say I'm investing, but you want this money in 2 years. An investment is a long term, and that's what differentiates it from a savings. A saving, you are saying, look, I want to go on holiday, look, I want to do this in the next couple of years or couple of months. That's a savings. But investments, they take time. And that's why I used an example of a seed. If you're planting a seed, you are not necessarily going outside to check if it's growing every other day. You are leaving it in there, and you know that it will become a tree in 5 years time. You trust that it will be a tree at some point. So that's the difference there. But if
Okay.
you're going to be a panic mechanic, then maybe just save at your bank. Just ask them to open another just ask them to open another account for you, where
Another
you're
account
going to
where you
put your
save.
500 rands, like,
Okay,
on
okay.
a monthly basis.
Steffi, I mean, what do you think about this? Because I feel like, yes, as much as I agree with Queen, I'm just there and I'm just like, yeah, well, bro, I still hate my 500, but I want it to grow, but I don't want it to be child. What do you think? To be frank, I'm just there. Yes.
Look, I was in the same spot as you, Herbert, at some point, because
Yeah.
I'm still also young. I'm still learning this adulting thing, this
Yeah.
this this, this bold thing, this money thing.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
also just
Yes.
had like a small amount of money, and I'm like, hey, let me do something with this
With
little,
this,
thing that I have over here. It's not much. You can't buy a house or anything, but it is small. And what I
yeah.
actually did was I went to go and look for companies to invest in, and not necessarily because I saw that Standard mentioned about the difference between investing and pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Now, I've had a lot of people come to me with their pyramid schemes, like, hey, just invest in this option today, and you can get this out in this turnaround time and all of that. I tend to stay away from that because of the fact that there's so little information on these pyramid schemes. There's not enough experience from people. There's not enough review from people. So I cannot be investing my money into something that we do not have much information on, and what I would do is I would go and look for actual reputable company that has opened up investments for
Wait,
us.
wait. I'll get back to the few. I just want to say something. We don't have so much information. We didn't have so much information about the Bitcoin, eh? And I think most of us lost a very big opportunity to invest in Bitcoin. But anyways, I will come back to that. We didn't have information, but it actually doing very well. But you can continue. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin also, I was a bit hashed about that a few years ago. People were like harassing me, trying to get me into Bitcoin as well.
How do you
But like
feel
I said,
now?
look, I don't feel any different from the time when I did turn it down.
Yeah.
My heart didn't say
Because
yes.
right now it's
thing,
actually
go
very high. I think it's sitting at 50,000 or something, $50,000.
Yeah, but I just don't feel comfortable enough myself to be investing in that. And I think it also goes towards preference, what you choose to invest in.
Okay.
And like I said, my preference would be to invest in reputable companies that have been there for long standing, that I know that is definitely going to be growing. So that's where I'm planting my seeds at. And obviously I will check it from time to time just to see how the interests are doing. But then I would leave it because I'll be like, you know what? It might plummet, it might not, but because it's a reputable company, they will make a plan. Whereas if you're just putting it in other smaller companies or putting it in pyramid schemes, you never have a guarantee of what's going to be happening to that seed that you have planted. You don't know if this scheme is going to be tumbling down or anything like that. You don't know what the future holds. And especially those pyramid schemes that is dependent on people going out and selling. I do not really find those ones to be as sustainable because people have to hash you all the time. People have to harass people in order to get people interested. And that is not really a method that I enjoy using or I enjoy being a part of. But yes, you look for these companies, you look for a place that you think is solid enough for you to put your money into and you leave it there.
Okay.
And sorry,
Yeah,
one more
yes,
thing. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not true. If you're going to invest 3,000 rands today and you're gonna make 33K on Sunday, I mean, then run for your life.
Look at the water.
We have the expert. Yes, the expert is about to say something. I'm sure he will say, crush all your points. Tell us.
I'm not going to crash their points, but
come on, I was excited.
So
but I'll ask you why. Why I was excited. Yes.
So in terms of investing, right? Don't worry about losing that opportunity of Bitcoin. So when you are investing in something, it's like buying a car. When you're buying a car, you really understand the product that you're going to buy. You really understand that this car is going to give me this amount of running costs. It's going to have these pros, these cons, and you are buying from an informed decision. So now when it comes to investments, it's the same. Don't put your money away in what you don't understand. So if you, I like Steffi's idea, standpoint that she's not worried about losing out on Bitcoin because she didn't understand Bitcoin. I was at that point. I didn't understand it initially because remember I think it was in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, where it went to such heights and then it fell.
Yeah.
Yes. So because of that, I didn't understand what is underlying. You get it. So if I don't understand what's underlying in this investment, don't put anything. Then that's another way that you identify pyramid schemes.
But if there is, Roy, I would say, if you don't understand, are we not supposed to read to understand?
Yes, you can read to understand, but
because at this moment, to be really frank, I'm one guy who is really hateful about Bitcoin for sure. Why? Because it's sitting at $50,000. Like I'm just there and I'm thinking, I
Okay,
had the opportunity, you know.
let's
I
put
know
it
you
this
want
way.
to comport me in this part, but I had the opportunity. I could have just bought even two. I would have $100,000.
Le-
$100,000. Like I could
we
sell
can
it.
we can put it this way.
Yes.
Are you really envious, or do you feel the same way about Elon Musk? Like, is Tesla going up and you missed out? You should have invented Tesla yourself.
Well,
You don't really, you get it.
I
So it's
don't
the
really.
same thing. It's the same thing. More things are going to come. More things are coming. And you learn from this period that, okay, I lost out on this. Why did I lose out on this one? I lost because A, B, C, right? Then next time when this happens, you apply
Yeah, well, no
your
matter how much,
experience.
I'll try to
Then
sleep better tonight. But to
then
be
I
fair,
think
I'm very hurt.
there's something that I don't want also to leave out.
Okay.
So you were concerned that you have your $500 and you are that person who doesn't want to lose. So with the investment professional, if you contact your advisors and stuff, they have what they call risk profiling. So you tell them your circumstances, your earnings, your your fears and your objectives, and they will give you something that is suitable for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like one blanket fits all, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
So in my case, I do it privately because I have experience and I have the knowledge to do that.
How do we get this knowledge? Do we just call you? Okay, but we'll come back to that part. But let's go back again to the topics. I mean, for sure we have spoken about investments and savings and what. But what are the common mistakes people talk about? Okay, let me just read this comment. Those things are really difficult to understand. I think you just need to invest and understand from experience. Other way, it's risky. Okay, that's what Cliff was saying.
Can I respond to this?
Okay, please, as you wish.
Yeah. So remember what I said about Bitcoin when it plummeted the last time. So I read and understood. I had an understanding of it, right? So now what we do now is when you see such an opportunity, you have to put in money that you're comfortable losing, right? So at any risky endeavor that you want to do, you put the money that you're comfortable losing. So the way I do it myself is if I'm buying if I'm buying something for, let's say, 100 rand, and I don't really mind that I'm buying something for 100 rand, then I know that in Bitcoin, I'm going to put in 100 rand. So last year, I did the same thing with Bitcoin. I just put in a small amount. And then later on, when I wasn't feeling well, then I just removed it.
But
so
how do you feel? How do you feel now for removing it?
I feel at peace with myself. Why?
Okay.
Because
maybe on social media, but I'm sure I wouldn't feel peace in myself. I mean, for sure, for the obvious reasons. But anyways, we want to go forward with, like, what are the common mistakes, say, that a person actually do when they're actually doing this investment or savings? What are your common mistakes? I mean, Steffi, I'm sure you had the common mistakes. What were the ones that you actually did?
I think for me, the common mistakes is investing without a purpose. If you don't know why you're investing, if you don't have a purpose for investing, you're literally just putting money and just hoping for the best and just seeing what might come. You're literally just going with the flow. And when that usually happens, you don't really have direction with the money that you are busy investing. And besides just investing into accounts and business and stuff like it also depends on what you're investing within yourself. Like, for instance, I do photography, I do graphic design, I do all of these things. So for me, investing in myself also would maybe be to buy equipment. You know, how is my equipment going to be able to work for me in the future? If you're just buying things as well, just to have it there, just, because it looks nice, then you're literally just wasting money and you're not using it for its intended purpose. But for someone like me, I would say investing in myself would be like maybe getting a big Mac computer that I can work from and getting a nice camera, because I know that in time to come, it might be expensive right now, but in time to come, the more work I put into it, the more returns I'll be able to get from it. So it also depends on what you're wanting to invest in. The thing is, I think when we hear investing, we only think money, we only think accounts, we only think businesses. We're not thinking about everything else that pertains to investing. Like I just said, like invest in yourself, invest in things that you need, invest in things that can actually work for you. Like you can't invest in a car because a car is a liability, but you tend to invest in things that you know will bring in returns. You invest in assets. You do not invest in liabilities because you know it's going to cost you more in the future rather than paying you more in the future. So I think also our mistake generally is to not understand what we are investing in and why we are investing it.
Okay, okay. So, Queen, I saw some comment there saying that that the common mistake that they make is that they are not actually investing. They think that they are alone or saving or investing or doing anything. I mean, sometimes we talk of investing and saving is because we've got extra to save. But do you think that there is a time that maybe you felt like you can't save? Or what would be the common mistakes that you did?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think everybody at a one point or another, they have come to a point where they were not able to save
To save.
anything purely
Okay.
because the cost of living has become so high. And I think it's easy for us to sit here and talk about all these savings and
Exactly.
investments
Exactly.
and all of that. But back at the ranch, people are really, really struggling, you know. And I think then these conversations are really, really important so that people can understand what are the benefits of savings and what are the benefits of investing and how does one go about it. And I know, I'm sorry to divert a bit, and I think it would be really great for people that actually study these accounting and all of these things to actually go back in their family members before wanting to get employed and all of those things, and actually just educate your friends, educate your family members, because a lot of people are not aware. They're not even thinking about the future, you know what I'm saying? So mistakes that I have made is that I've bought retirement annuities, and I mean, like 3 years into it, and I was just like super broke, and I was just like, I'm cashing my money, I'm cashing my money.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting over here suffering when I know that I
When I
have
know I
money.
got money, yes. Okay.
and so I've cashed my money, but I think now I'm at that age where I understand why I need to have investments and why I need to have money at retirement, because I'm not getting younger. I mean, when I was making all those mistakes, I was still in my 20s and it was okay. And now I'm in my late 30s. So I really need to start
To
looking
start
at
looking
investments
at investments. Okay.
properly and properly looking into my future.
Okay. So there's this interesting term that's coming up, 401k. I don't know what that is, but okay. Or what does what roles do 401k and Roth IRS? I don't know. I mean, Mr. Roy, to be frank, these viewers I think they are more knowledgeable than I am. I don't know what 401 really being. I mean, explain to me. I mean, maybe someone also is actually having the same question as I do.
So I think this one is specifically for someone who is in. I think this person is in the US.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm sure
okay.
he's in the US. Yeah, so I wouldn't
Maybe
want
Steph is looking into moving into the US. Maybe she will have an idea.
Yes, so the 401ks, those are
Yeah.
plans that are they are from US. I think I'm sure they are for their retirement investment. So
Okay.
it's a retirement investment plan that
Okay.
they use. But I'm not that knowledgeable in that
Okay.
because we are not in the US. Then I wanted to get in the common mistake.
Mistakes, yes, for
So
sure.
the most mistake that I made was I was always anticipating future increase in my salary. Why was that a mistake? When you are expecting a salary increment, you tend to consume everything. right? And that also addresses the person that said, I'm using up all the money that I have. It doesn't really apply the same way. It might not apply the same way, but that's one of the contributing factors. So if you are anticipating an increase in income in future, and you are actually that positive that it's going to come, your appetite for saving diminishes.
Okay.
But if you
share the
if
same
you are
Wednesday, I'm with you.
yes, so but if you are humble, right? If you become humble in your thinking and say, okay, tomorrow there might be an emergency. From that perspective, now you are now cautious and you can actually save.
Okay.
Right? Then also saving is it's also about the perspective, right? It's all about the perspective. Believe me, I've lived in times where I was running paycheck to paycheck. And later on, I discovered that, okay, this is a perspective mind. Actually, it came when I read The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
That's when I understood, okay, you have to put aside something every month, or with you have to pay yourself first. So it's an attitude thing. Saving, it's an attitude thing. No matter how much you earn, you can be able to save. So it's a perspective.
Like Queen said, I like what Queen said. She actually said, we can all sit here and talk about saving and investment, but maybe my salary is not even enough. So I mean, but from a perspective of everything, if we are to ask each one of us today, all of our salaries are not enough. Okay, but we can talk about this in a different context. There is a time where you really know that when I'm talking about the salary, that's not really enough for the basics of all the things. We talk about salaries not being enough because we want this other thing and that hand. But when we're talking about the basics not literally being enough, is it really an attitude thing or it's not? But nevertheless, we'll come back to that point, maybe or maybe not. But the thing that we want to talk about right now, of all the things that we talked about, so do we all agree that investment is the one that actually creates wealthy, or savings, or both actually do?
Savings, from my perspective, sustains just for the moment, but investing can create wealth in the future if invested properly.
Yeah.
But would we rule out that saving is actually going to? Because if I save every 500 every month, probably by the time I get old, I'm sure I will have a lot of money.
So
You'll have a lot of money.
So is it a savings then? Is it a savings then, or is it an investment? Because savings is it's a short-term thing. I mean, I think we've already defined what a savings is. It's for a rainy day. It's that kitty for when you need something, or when that relative passes on.
Guys.
So it can never make you wealthy. For me personally, I don't think savings can make you wealthy, but I think investments can make you wealthy. Because you're investing them longer, you're playing with the markets, you're looking at how markets are behaving, you're taking it offshore. Like there's a lot of stuff that is happening there. And with investments, you're probably putting in a lump sum of money. You're not putting in 500 rands, but maybe you're putting in $500. So I mean that's the difference, and that's where the wealth.
I like what Yannick just says here. Well, it perhaps depends on how much interest you're saving, gain, or maybe. But to be okay.
I mean, sorry. To be fair, I think at most savings you get 17%, and I could be that.
This is in a bank. Yes,
there's no way you can get wealthy on that.
So
So I have an interesting perspective on that.
Okay.
So I actually think both make you wealthy.
Okay.
How?
Okay.
So they are ways of accumulating wealth, right? Okay. savings is increasing your wealth by you not consuming more than you are making, right?
Okay.
And investing, it's increasing by earning you extra streams of income, right? Without saving, all the extra income that you're making from investment, you're going to wipe it away, right? But if you use them both now, even if you get to a point where you're now earning, let's say, R1 million, you are still going to be saving and you are still going to be frugal in your endeavors. So I think both actually they are two pillars that are needed in making one wealthy.
Okay. So I think I agree with you, Mr. Roy, but I'm just a layman. But at any given time, because I'm still trying to think of my $500, but still this doesn't really make much sense. But okay, so I don't want to dwell much on my $500 right now, but I want to. I mean, for the remaining of the time, I know that you do more of the forex trading. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about whether this is investment, this is saving, or what happens, or how can I start this? Because maybe I think with my 500 I can spin between the currents, and maybe this is okay. Because for sure, I'll give you an example. There was a time when the rand fell against the euro, and I was able to gain because it fell, and then I afterwards, when it gained a little bit, I changed again. But I mean, let's talk to someone who has never done this and explain to us how I can start doing these things. Is it an investment? Would you advise someone to do it? Not so much money, but maybe with starting with as little as I could. How can I do this? And I know that you've got a YouTube channel. Maybe you can tell us so we can actually see what this is all about.
All right. So in terms of trading now, in terms of, let's say we're looking at currency trading, it doesn't fall under investing or saving.
Okay.
Unless I'm doing it for a long term.
Okay.
This is a business. It's literally the same as buying and selling tomatoes. It's the same as buying and selling bread. So what you are just doing there is you're trying to gain from the movement of prices. So you're just trying to buy something when it's at a lower price. Let's say the rand, you're buying it when it has a lower price relative to the dollar, and then later on selling it when it has a higher price, then make a profit out there. In terms of investing now, in terms of you putting your money in there, I am not quick to encourage people to get into it unless they have gone through paperless moneyless trading, which is called paper trading, and also understanding the risk that's within there. So the risk that's within trading, and it's not advertised enough, it's that once I put in my money, I should be ready, or I should be prepared to lose it all, because it's one business where you can put in, let's say, $1 million today, and if you are not educated in the risk management, you are going to lose it all. You can lose it all in a day. Why? Because there is, I think, approximately 8 trillion in circulation. So what's $1 million compared to 8 trillion? So there is no one person that controls that industry. So it's now all about risk taking, right? It's now risk taking and risk managing. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't encourage people.
I don't know whether Yannick is actually getting your point, because he says it's like buying and selling tomatoes. I mean, for sure, there's one person controlling this. You said that it's not only one person controlling this. If I'm selling and buying my tomatoes, I'm the one controlling everything. But anyways, can continue.
Yeah, but when you're buying and selling tomatoes, you're not actually controlling people to come to buy. It's them who are deciding, okay, are these tomatoes at the right price?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm moving on.
To another one.
So
okay.
So because it's something that's risky. Most people, it's something that's risky, and it's something that's very profitable, because you have got an upside, in an unlimited upside.
Okay.
when it comes to trading.
Trading.
But the thing is, many people advertise it in deceptive ways. I can just stand up here and tell you that I'm making millions and take pictures of my next door neighbors' cars and stuff, proclaiming that they are my own. And actually, the professionals, they don't even advertise those things because they understand that it's a difficult endeavor to get into, because you'll be competing against smart guys and guys who are well educated and well trained. So it's not a get rich quick scheme.
Okay.
One of the people, they say that it's the hardest way to earn easy money.
Okay, I'm trying to understand your English, but I think it doesn't like us. But one. So I mean, because we don't have so much time, I think we can have a button short, and then we can write up about saying, what is it really? Is it all about money, or what advice could you talk about? And Roy, you can actually tell us about your YouTube, so that if people who really want to go on Forex, or if they want help from you, if they want to talk about it, maybe if you're willing to talk to them about it, how can they contact you if you want them to? And then the other guys, we can just make a conclusion and what we think the world should know about your personal experience, about savings, and about investments. Queen, you can start.
So I saw a question there. Is it all about money? Definitely.
Okay.
But it doesn't always have to be in a savings and investments kind of vibes. I think it's important for people to invest in themselves as well. Invest in your education. Invest in your education, learn more. The more you upskill yourself, the more value you add to yourself as a person. And that means that you will earn more, ideally. And also, I think it's important for us to start looking at money in a positive light. And I'm going to speak from my Black background. I mean, we've grown up being told that money is the root of all evil and all of that other stuff. And so those kind of conversations, they have a negative impact on us as people. As we grow up, we actually literally get afraid to make money, because now the more money we have, people are going to start having a different conversation about us and stuff like that. So we really need to break down those stigmas about money. Even though scripture says that money answereth all things, money makes the world go round. Money is very important. And so it is very important to treat it like that, as an important entity, and not to demonize it and start to do all sorts of things. Money is good. So when we invest in ourselves as well. We invest in our children if we have children. And we just invest in our capacity, in our understanding of how the world works. Just like what Roy was saying now, so that you don't get schemed up. People don't come with pyramid schemes. Understand what is happening in the world. Don't put your head in the sand and just say, yeah, well, this is not for me. So that's my parting shots, is that money is important. Invest in yourself. And the more you invest in yourself, the more value you add to yourself.
Okay, Steffi, tell us your parting shot. And I think we would also want some song to close by, and be ready to have some dance a little bit, and tell us where we can actually get your material from.
Thank you, Herbert. My parting shot would be, like Queen said, invest in yourself. I think my whole life that has always been my sort of motto. Going into university, studying multimedia, I was always saying to myself and to my friends that I want to be a jack of all trades and not just a master of one. And people always like, yeah, but that's going to be a bad thing because you'll be a master of none. But who says you have to be a master of none? You can be a master of all at the same time. And I've become a jack of all trades. And also in these trying times, you need to invest in yourself so much that when one door closes, another door can open for you. We don't want to sit in situations where you're only left with one skill. And when that door closes on that skill, you have nothing else left going for yourself. So it's very important for that. And hence me, I'm an artist. I paint, I do photography, graphic design, videography. I do music as well. So I always make sure that I have my hands in everything that I'm good at and everything that I've invested within myself, because when one door closes, I want another door to open as well. And also I want them to also work together so I can also generate more investment for me in terms of skills and stuff like that, and also in terms of money. And I don't know what song I'm gonna have to play for you. Maybe I must play that love song again for you.
Yes,
Seeing as
yes,
you still in the month of love.
we just want Roy to finish up to his say
Yeah,
parting
yeah.
shot, and afterwards, then you can I'm already, already. You know what I mean? Yes, yes. Roy, I mean you can tell us what would be the advice, especially
Okay.
me, the 500 guy.
Okay, you with your 500 vibe, you have to really understand your objectives and then
Okay.
talk to someone who understands what are your objectives and what are your fears,
I
so
believe
that
I'm already talking to one, but okay, we can take this later. But for sure, you can go ahead.
yes. Then also in terms of is it all about money? So some people, they have got causes that they are invested in or that they are interested in. Let's say you want to support the green energy. So you'd find that some people have constraints in their investments. They only invest in green energy companies or companies that support the environmental issues. So for them, it will be more of pushing for an agenda that they believe in, and then money is a plus. Then the other part is forex. So my channel is called Pip Valley. So I share analysis mainly. So I do analysis for the USDs and the Euro USD. I'll be just looking at points where the price is likely to move to, and also within those videos, I just share maybe some of the things that I'm feeling. I feel that can help anyone who wants to do trading and stuff. And as for reaching out to me, I prefer using the email. My email is shingiroy@gmail.com. So in terms of you and trying to get into forex trading, you have to understand that it takes time. I was telling one of my friends that at least if you start maybe with a small amount, be prepared that you're going to put in that small amount 100 times. So let's say you put in $30, be prepared that you're going to lose that $30, and then you put in another 30, you put in another 30 as a form of learning, because we all have to go through learning. We learn stuff even in a small business. Your first losses, they are part of your research and development. You are learning. Those are costs of doing business. So it is also there in trading. So don't be fooled that it's a get rich quick scheme. It's not.
It's not.
It's just
Yes.
like any other industry.
I think from the comments, Mr. Roy, you are a celebrity. We should hire some bodyguards to work with you, because everybody is loving your advice from here. But we will see what we can do for sure. I mean, Steffi, we can, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're gonna close with a song from Steffi. And I'm sure I'm already in my dancing mood. It's the month of love. Probably she's gonna repeat the song. So stay tuned, and thank you. I will see you guys next in the next episode next Saturday.
Thank you so much. I know I didn't mention this, but if you would like to get hold of my music, you can just search for Steffi Chagger on YouTube, Spotify, Deezer, all the major platforms. You will find me over there. And please, if you need to reach out or anything, feel free to do so.
Bye, guys.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet. Yeah, when your mouth still remember the taste of my love, with your eyes still smile from your cheeks, and baby I will be loving you till we're 70. And darling, my heart could still go as hard at 23. thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just a touch of a hand. But me, I fall in love with you every single day. And I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Oh, darling, place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, baby, we found love right where we are. Thank you, everybody. Mwah. See you.